Hey guys, today I want to talk to you a little bit more about Kula Crash and specifically about two other very strong combinations of things in this game. Now there are a lot of people mentioning the volcanic pieces, right? And I was very hyped to try this out. This is considered to be the best thing in the entire game, and I see pictures like this floating around and I think, yo, holy crap, this must be game-breakingly broken. Now I have tried a lot of things, including this and many other things, and yes, these volcanic strategies, no matter if you play it with the purchase effects or with the volcanic eruption effects, they are very strong. They are definitely on top of this Kula Crash meta here, if you want to call it that. But the problem is, and why I would still consider these strategies, every single strategy here in this game, in fact, weaker than the aquatic pieces, is consistency. Let me go into a little bit of more detail on what I mean. It is, of course, as I already mentioned, consistency. That is the issue. You need not only, right, do you need a lot of different pieces to make this work. Let's go over the pieces that you need first to make this purchase strategy concerning the volcanic pieces work here. You need this one, the refined carbuncle. You need this very early on. Otherwise, as you saw in the picture, right, the guy had this on level 3. That implies he got this very early on, and not only that, he was even able to level his piece up. Now I played like what, 20 plus matches, and barely do I even find this piece here even once, right? If I find it, I find it too late, so my board is already established, and then the purchase effects will not trigger twice or even thrice, right? So also this piece does not unlock at dock level number 1. This unlocks further down the line when you are already into like turn or dock level 3, 4, right? Then you will start having even the chance of finding this piece. So again, the probability of you finding this piece either not at all or way too late for this to even matter is extremely high. Here, there's another piece that you also need quite early on, but you cannot find it quite early on because this also unlocks at a later dock level than like dock level 1 or 2. So you again, you have already played quite a few turns before you have even the chance of finding this. But this is very important to have early on, because you need to trigger the purchase effects of yours multiple times. Now let me show you the key pieces of how to make this strategy work. The core piece, the number one most important piece, is this red rock puppet, because it not only activates but it gains the purchase effects of pieces one tile ahead and one tile behind. Here's a note that you have to take in order to make this work. Again, you need two different purchase effects in front and behind. There have to be pieces in front, and the pieces behind them have to have different purchase effects. Otherwise, for example, you will use this mostly with this Ash Lord Bunkle right here to gain the effect of plus 2 HP and plus 2 attack to all of your volcanic pieces. Now, if you have a Ash Lord Carbuncle on level 1 in front and one Ash Lord Carbuncle on level 1 behind him, he will only get this effect once. He will only get one plus 2 effect in total. So what you want to do is you want to have a level 1 and a level 2 behind and in front of him, right? So that there are two different purchase effects. Or you even want to combine this with different pieces, purchase effects, like the other robot carbuncle is what I'm calling this guy here, the Ash Grubuncle. It grants an HP to all volcano pieces. You want this behind and then the kitty cat in front, for example, right? Because otherwise you would only copy one of the purchase effects from this red rock puppet and not two. This is very, very, very important to understand, because you want to trigger this red rock puppet as much as possible throughout your battle by using this beast Mavka. You want, of course, two of these beast Mavka and have one in each lane, and then trigger the entire lane's purchase effects every single turn once after the shopping phase, right? And here, like, this is the problem. You are your entire strategy pretty much evolves around 4 pieces. It is this refined grubuncle that you need early on, otherwise if you get it too late, strategy is not gonna come online strong enough. You need this beast Mavka at least twice. And then you need a whole bunch of these red rock puppets and a whole bunch of these kitty cats. Look, you want to have multiple of these kitty cats on the board, and you have to level them up, because look, on level 2 or even level 3, these give you +4/+4 or +6/+6, and those are the effects that you want to copy with your red rock puppet. In the later stages of the game, you will fall a little bit behind if you only provide +2/+2 with this red rock puppet every single turn. That is not going to be enough, and you would be better off playing another strategy. So the amount of times that you have to find these kitty cats is ridiculous. The amount of times that you have to find this red rock puppet is ridiculous. The timing in which you have to find this refined carbuncle is most of the times not gonna work out. Then what are you gonna do if you don't find these beast Mavka twice at least, right? Also at quite a reasonable pace, which again for those 2 pieces is pretty much impossible because they're not unlocked from dock level 1. So that's like the whole problem. Let me show you a little bit of how this looks in game. Here we have it, guys, right? Like you can see, this is round 8, and the exact same scenario will also occur on turn 10, you know? I play Matilda here. Matilda has the ability to refresh the monster dock 3 times per turn for free. So you can see this right here. I'm refreshing my monster dock like 5 times every single turn from round 3 on onwards. I'm fishing for the correct pieces like an absolute madman, right? And now look at my board. Yeah, I have a lot of red rock puppets, but still my kitty cats are only, I have 2 kitty cats and they are only level 1. That's not what I want. I did not find the beast Mavka yet. Here on round 9, right? On round 9 with Matilda, I find my first beast Mavka. I have not found the refined grubuncle yet at all. I have no kitty cat level 3, I have only 2, and you see how inconsistent this is, right? Even with me, like fishing every single turn 5 times with refreshing my monster docks, and I also leveled some pieces up to gain some extra pieces, like you can see with the piece in the front on the top row, or this little critter right here that I'm now switching places with is level 2. Other pieces that I already sold earlier were also level 2, so you know, I'm doing everything correctly. But you can see, right, this is what I mentioned earlier, that this will happen to you more often than not, that you will either not find the pieces that you need at all, like the beast Mavka or the refined carbuncle, or if you even find them in the first place, you will find them way too late. Yeah, and here I was just showing you that you always want to have 2 different purchase effects on the red rock puppet. You cannot copy the same purchase effect twice on that piece. Very important, you know? But you see, as I said, like I've played like what, 20+ rounds on this, and I can confirm 100% this is too inconsistent, because again, the pieces that you need to find are too rare, as you cannot find them from the very first turn onwards. They unlock at higher and higher monster dock levels, and you have to get there in the first place to even unlock you the chance of having to be able to find a piece in the first place. And the amount I'm fishing here with Matilda is absolutely ridiculous, and yet I'm still way too far behind the curve, and I would have been way better off playing something else. A positive thing about this strategy is, of course, like when this works, it gets completely out of control. But to be fair, this is like pretty much the case for a lot of strategies, right? Even if you still play like the Lucius, yeah, they are also now too inconsistent to consider them like top tier or anything. But if this works, it's absolutely ridiculous. So yeah, I don't know if we can count this as a plus point for this kind of strategy that I just presented to you. But yeah, a upside is it can work, or it does work in fact, with a lot of different players. You can play this with Matilda, you can play this here with Mrs. Bubble, you can play this, as I said, yeah, with Matilda, you can play this with Pickles, because he levels up your kitty cats without you having to consistently find them back to back to back to back, right? Or yeah, you can even play this with Diggers, because you can pay money to give your pieces shields. That has good synergy with the best mid piece for this kind of strategy. Melania is very, very good, because you can trigger your purchase effects twice for just one count, for just one coin. This is one of the best, if not even the best player for this strategy. In fact, here Muldi is overall consistent, because +1/+1. This is a little bit too slow, but you get the point here. Eternity is a little bit of a worse version than Mrs. Bubble would be, but she gives you the coins that you need to fish a lot nonetheless, so this is very, very good. Kiparina is always a solid trainer here. Medicine Pocket is even really, really good, because once for the entire match, right, not per turn, but for the entire match, one time you can level up a piece to level 3. That is also very, very, very beneficial for our strategy here, because we can level up our kitty cat to level 3 and then copy this level 3 purchase effect with our red rock puppet, right? You get the point. This is what somewhat adds a little bit of consistency to this deck, but overall I think the aquatic pieces are still king. Then there is a thing called Volcanic Eruption that is also very, very often mentioned. And of course the best player in the game to play this strategy with here is Barrel. I would say this is even a little bit of a requirement. Like if you look at the other trainers like Ulu, for example, that would make this work. She's not even in this very specific selection here, so that's already also a bummer. But yeah, not too many trainers synergize around the Ember accumulation, and therefore this is even less consistent. You know what I mean? And you play around kind of weak pieces here, like the 2 iterations of Flickering Flame, these guys here. You also require a lot of different pieces, and you are bound to get your mid pieces up as well, right? This one right here. Volcanic Eruption deals +1 more damage. It's the Great Ulu. That's a mid lane piece. There is a bird here somewhere that is also very, very necessary for this kind of Ember strategy. Wait a second, let me find this real quick. Yeah, excuse me, I found the mistake I made. For the Ember strategy, you do not use this tool procedurement or whatever it's called, device plan. You do not play this with the Mrs. Bubble plan. You play this here with the detailed plant that features Robushka, because only here do you have the pieces that you need to make this work. You also have both of the iterations of Flickering Flame, this one right here and this one right here. Here's the bird that I was talking about that grows, and it steadily gives you an influx of the Ember that you need, right? You have other pieces like this one right here that synergizes well about the Volcanic Eruption. But the key pieces are indeed the Flickering Flames, this Swift Abraxas here, and you have 2 more middle pieces that you need to find with Dispersed Filth. Here, the first use of Volcanic Eruption does not consume Ember. That is very, very awesome. This one here is even better. That is a core piece of the whole strategy called the Aggregated Filth, which makes it so that your Volcanic Eruptions, they don't deal 2 damage to a enemy, but instead they deal 1 damage to all enemies at the same time. That is very, very necessary and a must-have piece right there. Here's another very, very important piece. The Wandering Bird Leader, right? Grows, and it gives you a steadily increase in Ember that you need to make your strategy work. But your board overall is gonna be quite weak. You really are all about producing these embers and having pieces on the board that synergize around the Volcanic Eruption. But you see the issue, right? If you don't play this with Barrel, and even a little bit if you play this with Barrel, you need to accumulate a whole lot of Ember first. And you have to find the correct mid pieces first. Otherwise, your strategy will not work. It takes a lot of time, and if you don't find, again, right, same with the other Volcanic purchase strategy that is going on there, you are too reliant to find the correct pieces that are not available to you right out of the gate from dock level 1. The strategies, they take a whole lot of work and a whole lot of time to come online, and then while you spend this time, you will fall behind, you will take a lot of damage, and you risk never coming online by never being able to find the pieces that you need in the first place. Because again, the probability of finding these pieces is very, very low because they are not unlocked from Monster Dock level 1. I have to put a lot of emphasis on this, because as you look, if you compare this to what I consider the best strategy in this game with the aquatic pieces, the Momus and the Dolphin, right? That is pretty much all I need, and these pieces are available for me to find right out of the gate on dock level 1. I don't need to wait until level 3, 4 or even 5 to make my strategy come online and work. Every time I played with the aquatic pieces, I have always, every time, found my Momus. Always I find the dolphins, and I always find my snow monster Jedis. Even other aquatic pieces here, because this detailed plant is just way too good, because the RNG here is negated, as there are not too many pieces I could even find in the first place. You know what I mean? If you look at the other plants, there are so many different trainers, so many different pieces. It all becomes, at least for my taste, much too inconsistent, you know? Every single time I find this cutie guy here, I find my Momus, I always have the Abang Acres, I always have my dolphins, I always have my snow monster Jedis. With every other strategy that I played, I miss a piece here and there. Everything often like falls apart, so to speak. Still viable, still strong boards, right? But nothing comes close, nothing holds up with how strong in the first place and how consistent the aquatic pieces are. But yeah, I mean, you have fun with whatever you want. Maybe you think the Volcanic Eruption is even better than the aquatic pieces. I tried a lot. I tried the poison, I tried the ember, I tried the purchasing, right? I tried a lot of things. I played it a whole bunch, and to me, nothing holds up to this very aquatic piece strategy that I showed you in my first video that features my Kula Crash guide, so to speak. But that's it for me for today for this video, guys. I hope this was fun and informative. If you like Reverse1999 content in general, please consider leaving a follow on my channel. I would really appreciate it. But until next time, take care of yourselves, have a great day, and we love this game.